if that was the first NBA game you watched this season, you'd be like, wow, the Milwaukee Bucks are by far the best team in the NBA, which is kind of the point we're going to talk about here. You mentioned it earlier. The bubble last year kind of ruined us and how we watch playoff series and try to make sense of the rhythms and the beats of the idea that a playoff series never starts until the road team wins. That has been thrown out the window thanks to the Mickey Mouse bubble last year. And I think everyone forgot that. And the Phoenix Suns go up 2-0, which is exactly what they were supposed to do. They defended home court, and they didn't even defend it like they look great doing it. I'm not taking away like the fact that they look like a very good basketball team doing it. They deserve all the praise. It wasn't like they won game 1 and 2 by 30, you know? Like they were competitive basketball games. The second game, I would argue, like the Bucks might have walked away from game 2 feeling decent about it because Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday played like ass.
And the Suns shot 50% from 3 in game 2. I mean, if you look at the stat sheets, if you look at the box score after the game and you're the Bucks, you can say, hey, we didn't get blown out, and they also played pretty much the best that they can play. So, okay.
Yeah, and I guess that was just what was going through my head as I was watching game 3 as the Bucks dominated kind of. I mean, like game 3 to me was the more definitive win. Of the 3 games, that was the most definitive win. Now, it was only worth 1, and the series is 2-1. That's how, for those that aren't keeping track, the Suns still lead the series.
Yes.
But it is. I found myself thinking like the bubble definitely ruined us because we're all very impatient. We just wanted to clear series over, and maybe we shouldn't do that because this is setting up to be a pretty awesome NBA Finals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, in the bubble, there was obviously no difference between game 1 and game 3. And, the Bucks should have all taught us a lesson with the Nets series because after game 2, they get blown out by like 40 points or whatever it was. They were dead to rights. I mean, so much so that, Jay Williams goes on ESPN and tells the story that Kevin Durant said, don't ever compare me to Giannis Antetokounmpo. People were comparing Giannis to Ben Simmons. They were saying they're basically one and the same. That's where we were in the ridiculous world of media narratives, right? That the Bucks were done. They should blow it up. The Drew Holiday trade was wrong. Giannis can't be the number 1 guy on a championship team. They go on to win that series in 6 games. So, and Giannis after the game last night, he said what you want to hear if you're a Bucks fan, which is like in every series, he says game 1 has been rough for us. But again, they're traveling from Atlanta. They went to Milwaukee for one day, then they go to Phoenix. So you kind of guess that you're going to lose game 1. If you really had to chalk it up, you would say to yourself, we're probably going to lose game 1. So game 2 is really the game that you kind of go for. They're up in the first quarter in that game. And then, of course, Suns get hot. They end up winning that one. It's all good. Like you said, Holiday, Middleton played terrible. But the biggest story, I think, so far in the series is the 5 position for the Suns. I mean, DeAndre Ayton has Frank Kaminsky playing behind him, right? I mean, that is everything to me. And when you look at the Bucks, they have, Giannis is going to play the 5, as we've seen. He's going to match up with Ayton. You got Brook Lopez, who I guess we've all forgotten is an all-star. I mean, or at least can be an all-star, has all-star talent, even though he can be clumsy and spastic at times. He's still, a superstar in this league, or can be a superstar in moments. And then you have 2 other actual all-stars in Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. And early in this game, Drew Holiday hits a 3. That was the first shot that the Bucks made in this game, and that's the sign that says, hey, all signs are pointing up. And then I saw after the game, Monty Williams gives his post game. He's talking about Ayton. He says, we got one of our guys, or he says that one of their guys had 17 free throws, and I think they as a team had 18 free throws. So, but at the end of the day, Giannis really wasn't the one that got Ayton in foul trouble. Like if you watch the game, Ayton, the worst foul that he had was like a minute into the third quarter, and Chris Paul gets the ball stolen from him, and then Ayton has a stupid foul, and then he gets taken out of the game. And also, he didn't foul out of the game. So it was a conscious decision to pull him from the game, which is, I mean, that's what happens in basketball. Obviously, we got to protect the guy. But if you're going to get knocked, if the game is going to be over by the time you're going to put Ayton back into the game, then maybe we should have just risked it. But they have the recipe, they have the formula, whatever you want to say, the Bucks do right now, which is, hey, we can go big on these guys. We can go at Ayton. And we're going to force the Suns to either put Frank Kaminsky at the 5 and extend Ayton in those minutes, and we can potentially get him in foul trouble. And so I left game 3, like you said. I think it was the most definitive win because you see a path for the Milwaukee Bucks. And after the first 2 games, yes, the Suns won those games. Yes, the Suns were the better team. But I still thought that we had, as they say, like there was a lot more series ahead. And Game 3 showed us a lot. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is unbelievable. I mean, seriously. Like when we joked about like what the NBA would want, I said he's international Jordan. Like
he's so likable, isn't he?
I mean, he's like the most likable athlete we have going right now, I feel like, because I mean, I don't even know. I mean, obviously his story plays a huge part in this. I mean, the guy was selling purses on the streets at one point in his life with his family, and they were homeless. So, I mean, that's incredible to be where he is. But, like, the way that he plays the game and the way that he approaches the game and the way that he deals with losses and the way that he bounces back from losses, the way that he's fine to airball a free throw and laugh at himself.
He's self-deprecating.
My
Not
goodness.
just about that, just about, I saw a clip of him practice talking with PJ Tucker. You know what I'm talking about? I forget what he said.
He's
but
like, I've airballed free throws. He's like, basically, I've seen the bottom of the bottom, so all I can do is go up from here.
He kind of jacked Michael Jordan's quote of like, I've missed 1,000 shots, so that's why I, whatever Jordan's quote was. But that's okay because he did it with a big smile and an infectious attitude, and we're like, Giannis is the best. He's so fun to cheer for.
Exactly.
So and Monty Williams, I mean, he has to say that. Like,
of course,
that's part of what the coach has to say. He has to bitch about the refs, and that's part of the game. We know that, but it is funny that he was. If you take it at face value and pretend that he's actually really upset, it is hilarious that he's complaining about the officiated when if you looked at Phoenix's scouting report, if someone just went to the locker room and like grabbed a scouting report, I bet like 5 pages are like foul the shit out of Giannis.
Send it to the free throw line.
That's like the biggest strategy. It's like a big bold letters on every page. And he's like, I don't understand how this is happening. What is going on here?
Yeah, I mean,
why are the refs calling fouls?
He made 13 out of 17, right? So like if Giannis does that, then you're really in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
It's not a hack and shack, even though he is. My favorite storyline we have going right now of the bigs is that DeAndre Ayton and Giannis Antetokounmpo are both like, who is the next Shaq? You know what I mean? Like they're like, it's like DeAndre Ayton has something, and then they're like, this is the first time that someone's had 20 and 19 since Shaq, and then Giannis was the first person to have 40 and 10 in back-to-back finals games since Shaq. So I don't know who is Shaq in this series, but if you're Shaq and you're watching, you're like, this is awesome. Like the bigs are back, baby, and it's all coming back to me.
I just realized like everyone says that Devin Booker is the next Kobe just because of his relationship with Kobe, and he had the 70-point game. And kind of the way he plays, obviously. If he's the next Kobe, if he's Kobe and DeAndre Ayton is Shaq, there's how much money? God, dude, I want nothing more now than someone to ask Chris Paul if that makes him Derek Fisher. Like say it with a straight face, just be like, as the Derek Fisher role in this team, Chris, just see what he does.
I think he would. Remember when LeBron like grabbed his bag with his sunglasses on and just walked out? I think that's what Chris does.
I thought about this too because as you brought up Frank Kaminsky, I don't know why I haven't made this connection, and apologies if every single person on earth has made this connection because I promise I haven't seen this or thought about it at all until it just hit me. That Frank Kaminsky's playing back in Wisconsin, Tate.
Yes, he is. Yep.
This has been brought up, I assume.
I mean, I haven't seen many NBA.
Are we worried about this is where my mind goes because like if I was playing for the Clippers and we're playing the Pacers in the finals, I don't know. There's some small part of me. I'm playing back in Indiana. I know he's from Chicago. Kaminsky's from Chicago. He's not from Milwaukee, but it's close enough. He went to Wisconsin. He's a god in Wisconsin. For the Badgers at least. Marquette fans could do without him, but makes you think.
No, he wore red shoes, I think, in Game 3, and I think a lot of people were saying that it was a homage to the Wisconsin fans that would be in the building. I mean, look, I'll just say this. It was great. Frank Kaminsky playing in the finals, right? If you make a guy a top 10 pick, the old adage is that he could be one of the 5 guys on the floor. Two teams, 2 starting 5s. He could be one of the 5 on the floor in the NBA finals, right? So when the Hornets took him 9th, using that old adage in my mind, I'm saying Frank Kaminsky will never, ever be one of the 5 players in the NBA Finals. What are we doing, Michael Jordan? And it's yet again, Michael Jordan was right. I had no idea. He was right. He knew it. He knew he could play in the Finals. So that's why I'm happy.
Is Jordan a better GM than LeBron?
I think
What's the consensus on that?
I mean, rookie of the year, Frank Kaminsky in the Finals. Yeah. I don't know. I think LeBron right now is a little shook, and I'm scared it's going to come down to Space Jam. You know, as we've joked about multiple times, I think the final GOAT debate will be who was the better actor and who sold the most money at the box office between Space Jam and Space Jam 2, and that'll be our final answer. Then we'll all know. Yeah.
Who's the? It's God, dude. Space Jam 2 is. I'm so mad, but also as the date draws nearer, I realize I'm probably going to theater on Friday to watch it. And I hate myself for it.
Yeah.
I hate myself for it, but
I mean, look, Bugs Bunny, as you know, I mean,
I'm doing it for Bugs. Is that your stance?
Of course. I like Bugs Bunny is my favorite person, character, whatever you want to call him, in the entire existence of the universe. So I am going for Bugs, no doubt. The actual GOAT. That's who I'm going for.
Yeah. Make no mistake about this. I do not support LeBron James in any way, shape, or form.
I'm here for, you know why I'm here as I walk in.
you know They have a scene in the movie. Bugs Bunny crosses up the Monstars. It hits a 3 and then turns to the camera and says, "I'm him." And Tate's like fist bumping in the theater.
There was a clip that came out, like half the movie they've shown on Instagram already, but there was a clip that they put out, and they go into DC universe, right? Because the whole movie they go through the different.
Oh
Warner
yeah,
Brothers
that's
properties.
right. It's like Ready Player One with LeBron. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So they get in the DC universe, and Bugs is Batman, and LeBron is Robin, and I was literally thinking to myself, God, Bugs does not miss. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you put him in. He doesn't miss.
Who's Bugs' agent? Dude,
I don't know.
Guy,
he's a genius.
Absolute genius. What were we talking? How did we get on that? Oh, we were talking about LeBron and Jordan as GMs.
Yeah.
Who's the GOAT of like Hall of Fame players? Who's the GOAT? Is it Jerry West? I guess would that be the answer?
Probably Jerry West.
Pat Riley, was he a Hall of Fame player? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think he got to that level, huh?
What about Joe Dumars? He's got to be up there.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be the one because I mean the Pistons were every single year Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously won a championship, so he's got to be in the mix.
Yeah. I don't know.
Danny Ainge not in the mix for me.
I don't know. What a stupid question. Why did I bring that up? I don't know.
No, it's a good thought. I think America would say Jerry West.
Can we talk about the Cam Johnson dunk a little bit? Because I know you do want to talk about this.
Oh, man.
This was this reminded me of the importance of watching sports live. Why watching sports live is so important, because if you did not watch this live, it takes a little bit away from it. Like the surprise factor of seeing Cam Johnson just bring the ball up the floor, and even as he was going up for a dunk, in the back of my mind, I'm like, something's gonna happen and he's gonna mess this up. But I love that he's trying this. Yeah. And then he yammed all over PJ Tucker, and I was like, damn, it sucks that that's a charge, because that was an amazing dunk. And then it was not a charge. And I was like, what the hell just happened? It blew my mind. And I just, like, my mind immediately went to, like, I'm glad I was watching this live, because if your buddy texts you this, like, did you see this dunk? You're already primed for it. You already kind of know what's coming. Yeah. And then you watch the highlight, and you're like, yeah, that was pretty good. That wasn't, you know. But to watch that live, dude, to watch that, like, just come out of nowhere like that. And I know Cam Johnson can get up. I know he's dunked on people before. He dunked on Anthony Davis. Like, it's not, like, that part of it wasn't a shock. It was just that, like, I didn't think that's where he was going with that. I thought he was just kind of like dribbled up.
He literally climbed the ladder. I mean, you know, to use the Tom Chambers term, because I mean that's what it felt like. It felt like the Tom Chambers dunk that we've seen a million times. And the worst part about the dunk, at least in my opinion, was I thought it elicited more of a reaction. But the problem, as we all know, is that Mark Jackson was the man that Tom Chambers dunked on. So Mark Jackson was, you know, he could have made that comparison. He could have said, "Mama, there goes that man." He could have gone. I mean, he did have a reaction, obviously, because how could you not? But at that moment in time, I was like, how did he not say Tom Chambers? But then I was like, oh my God, this is the man that got dunked on by Tom Chambers. Of course, he doesn't want to bring up that moment. And it's fair to Cam. Like, I think it's better not to bring up Tom Chambers, because that's that dilutes a little bit of, you know, the 23, the North Carolina connection. He probably wants to be compared to Michael Jordan and not Tom Chambers. I would assume that's what he was looking for there. But, you know, PJ Tucker, as you know, I love PJ Tucker from Raleigh, North Carolina. But to have a guy that we have stolen from the state of Pennsylvania and we've turned him into a Tar Heel, and then to see him dunk on a guy who left our state to go to Texas, it was very like, I don't know who I'm pulling for here, but there's a lot of North Carolina ties in this moment. And Cam Johnson just solidified the fact that he's a Tar Heel forever. Get the Pitt stuff out of here.
No, that's not true. No, hold on. Did you see Kevin Stallings tweeted the highlight and said, "Proud of you, CJ"?
He did?
No, I'm kidding. He did in my brain. In my dreams, he did.
think about like I think about just Kevin Stallings trying to block this guy from going to Carolina. You know what I mean? Like that is his legacy with Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson will always think, man, my coach who I played for at Pittsburgh tried to keep me from going to North Carolina actively, even though I'd already graduated. I was,
I picture Kevin Stallings on a beach somewhere, like kind of a. What beach would he be on? Like somewhere in like Panama City, Florida or something. Like that's the beach Kevin Stallings is on. He's got one of those sunbathing the deals where you, like the it looks like the thing you'd have to put up on your desk so people you couldn't cheat in class, like But you know what I'm talking about? It's reflective and you hold it up and it like gets more sun on your face.
Yes.
And he's just sitting there and he's knocked out and he's sunbathing. And then one of his cronies comes up and taps him on the shoulder like it's George Bush on 9/11 reading to the kids. And like whispers in his ear and he peeps down his sunglasses and looks at him and he goes, "He did what?" And he puts the sunglasses back up and then drinks like that's how I picture Kevin Stallings.
Yes.
Heard about Cam Johnson in this moment and time that he had, and then he's like, "I don't care," and he pretends like he didn't care.
Yes, I think the joke is that you always go to Cancun when you lose, and I think like Kevin Stallings actually is in Cancun.
Kevin Stallings has a ponytail in Cancun, and he's selling jet skis on the beach.
Yes, facts.
There's jet ski rentals.
Jet skis.
And he's got like a henna tattoo that like goes away, but every time it starts to go away, he gets it done again. And he never actually, he doesn't have the balls to get the permanent tattoo. He just keeps getting the same henna over and over and over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and say he has dreadlocks, and it's very offensive.
He's got beads in his hair.
Everyone's like, "Oh no, coach."
He's got the Chet Hanks Jamaican accent.
Seriously.
You're like, what is going on?
He's speaking patois to the people. You're like, "Sir, you're in Mexico." Oh man, I miss Kevin Stallings, man.
I miss him so much, man.
Bring him back.
The man looked at his player laying on the floor, and he said, "I'll kill you." Kill you.
Yeah, literally. And that's not even like a hyperbole. That was literally what happened in a moment.
God bless him. Any other NBA Finals thoughts? I mean, just Cam Johnson in general. I don't know if we've talked about when he was drafted. Like, have you done that? Have we revisited that he was mocked, he was belittled, he was laughed at? He's having a great series. He's having a great playoffs. He's having a great career. He's going to be great in the NBA, as it turns out.
I mean, the craziest part about all that was when he was taken 11th. Yes, it was high, but it was kind of what we were talking about with Wieskamp. Like you see that he's 6'7", 6'8" on a good day. He's long. The biggest knock that they had on Cam Johnson was like he has bad hips. He's not that great. But like if you watch him dunk over PJ Tucker, I think his hips are all right. I think the Suns have done a really good job with helping him get there. And then to go back to the DeAndre Ayton foul trouble point, DeAndre Ayton had that stupid foul on Chris Paul, or after the Chris Paul steal. He comes out of the game for guess who? Cam Johnson, who comes in like on a 10-0 run by himself and gets the game to a 4-point game. So like when DeAndre Ayton came out of the game for foul trouble, Cam Johnson goes on this magnificent run, and obviously it tapered off from there. So I'm happy for Cam. I'm waiting for Mikal Bridges to kind of lock back in. I think he's the one guy they really need for the Suns to figure it out a little bit. But, I mean, if you had told me that Cam Johnson would have a more promising NBA arc than Kobe White, however many 2 years into their careers, I would have been very confused because of what Cam Johnson got drafted into. I mean, when you think about Phoenix that he got drafted into, there was no one that was saying, watch out for the Suns in a couple years. They were saying, DeAndre Ayton sucks. They should have taken Luka. You know, and that Devin Booker is a good stats, bad team guy. You know, these are the things that were being said about the Suns. So Cam Johnson didn't walk into some great situation. So I'm just happy for him. I saw his music teacher like commented on the dunk like on SportsCenter and was like, Cam was in my music class. He was like one of the best students, and I'm so happy for him. You know, it's like it has all good faith coming his way, so to speak. So it's all good for Cam.
All right. Well, there
I'm
you go.
happy for him. I don't really have any more thoughts other than I think the Bucks are the favorites in my mind, and I'm sure I'll probably eat those words. But I've never deviated from that. Even after the first 2 games, I was like, I still think it's Bucks.
Before Game 1, Nets Bucks, I said the winner of the series will win the title, and I'm sticking with it. I'm riding that. I'm going down with the ship.
But I will say, what happens? What is the fallout with the Phoenix Suns if they do not win the title? Because they do think that they kind of how Barkley in '93, you know, he kept saying that they were the team of destiny, and Michael Jordan took that personally because he was like, "You have no destiny.
Yeah.
I am the chosen one.
I'm inevitable."
Yes, and that's Giannis feels a little inevitable, but the Suns feel like the team of destiny. I don't know who wins in this narrative bullshit, but I do think. What
happens when destiny meets inevitability?
I don't know, but I think that the Suns have a very, very tough offseason if they do not win. I really
think
do.
Suns in 4 guys, the first cut you have to make. I think fire him. I think get him out of your face.
Yeah.
The other guy, the guy who very obviously went to Grand Canyon University and wears the shooter sleeve.
Yes.
Like, oh my God! I don't even care where that guy went to college.
He's hilarious.
He went to Grand Canyon in my mind. He could have gone. He could have gone to Ohio State. I wouldn't believe you. He went to Grand Canyon University. You know exactly what I'm talking about too.
Yeah.
That's so weird. The weirdest part about the Suns fans. And they've gotten a lot of people have talked about the Suns fans these entire playoffs.
People are mean. People are mean to the Suns fans. You know.
But the weirdest part to me is that there are these individual characters that stick out to you. It's not like the Suns fans as a whole. It's like you keep showing like the same people over and over and over, and weirdly, I don't know. It feels like you know exactly what I'm talking about. I said the guy that went to Grand Canyon with the shooter sleeve. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
The guy who was floating as they were vibing in Game 2, and they're shooting all of the Phoenix crowd like on a 4K red camera. Like I like they're so perfectly shot and like focused in on that. I think it's also jarring. Like my mom, when we were watching the game at the beach, she's like, they don't even look like real people. You know what I mean? Like
they got like Hans Zimmer to come in and like do the score as they're shooting these guys. You're like, what is happening?
Yeah. Seriously. I mean, that's what it looks like. It really does. And Deakins is the DP for the whole thing. You're like Richard Deakins. Hey there. Thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.